real. This guy, Killer Mike, which never heard of him before.
Can I kick it with y'all real quick, just for a quick second? I'm finding it very interesting that there's been a plethora of content creators on here on TikTok, Instagram, and even over on YouTube that's giving their take that they just don't know who Killer Mike is, while simultaneously being in hip hop culture as media and monetizing their platforms eating off of hip hop. I got a graphic I want to show you real quick. So this is on Twitter. All the people who are like, who is Killer Mike, is really exposing themselves for knowing nothing about hip hop. That's a bar within itself. Like the extra commentary isn't needed, but I'm gonna provide it. Be right back. So some general consensus within our hip hop culture is Outkast is not just one of the biggest groups of hip hop from down south. They're one of the biggest groups, period. Guess who has a catalog of music with Outkast? You can read the credits. You guessed it, Killer Mike. So how are you in hip hop culture monetizing your TikTok or YouTube like Kai Cenat or Instagram, giving hip hop takes, but you don't know who Killer Mike is? Be right back. So as far as the Grammys, I agree. There was some other artists who had some dope albums. I like Travis Scott. I think that Utopia album was great. But I just want you guys to think for a second, for all the people who's like they don't understand why Killer Mike won. Did you hear any of them mention why didn't Nas win either? Quite interesting that nobody said why didn't Nas win. It went straight from Utopia to Metro Booming to Drake, which is cool because those guys are in hip hop. But Travis Scott, who's everybody campaigning for, is in a subculture of hip hop, which is hip hop, subculture, rock blended with pop. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, dope album. I was jamming up to it in the gym, but it's a subculture of hip hop. With Killer Mike winning that Grammy in that fashion where he swept that rap category, it personified pure hip hop and it drew a line in the sand with hip hop and the subcultures. And people are right now, their gasket is blown. Well, he don't have as many Spotify listeners as 21 Savage or Drake or Utopia. When did hip hop become about Spotify listeners? No disrespect to anybody who was that take, but pure hip hop goes beyond the popularity contest, which means who's the cool kid at the lunch table. So, yes, Killer Mike might not have a billion Spotify listeners, but for people within hip hop culture, know who Killer Mike is, know who Outkast is, heard of his work. So, again, I find it very interesting that there's a plethora of people of all ethnicities who are making their takes on social media who have monetized their platforms off of hip hop culture, but don't know too much about hip hop. I'll leave by saying this. I'm glad Killer Mike won because what's it going to force artists to do is start making more complete albums with the message in it. If you want to be considered hip hop, again, the subcultures are cool. If you want to be in the subculture of hip hop, meaning hip hop slash pop, perfect example, Doja Cat. She's in hip hop, but she's in the subculture. I love Doja Cat music, but is she a hip hop purist like a Killer Mike and Outkast and others? No. Same thing with Travis Scott. Is he hip hop? Yes, but is he a hip hop purist like Killer Mike and others? No. So again, just to wrap this up, if you don't know who Killer Mike is, go Google him and brush up on your hip hop while you're monetizing it off the culture.